All right, it's Monday, December 9th. As we start the week, I wanted to provide another update on MSTU, kind of the ETF that tracks MicroStrategy, a derivative of kind of the whole Bitcoin market. And this is the weekly chart here. And I shot a video at the end of this week, 2 weeks ago, that turned red, describing my overall, outlook for a choppy environment with a little bit of a downward bias until this weekly chart changes to the upside. And given what's happened since then, I'm not surprised that we're starting this week off red, especially if you look at the daily price action from last week, which I'll go over in a second. But overall, what you have is, the red bar here, big spike and shooter bar here on this uptrend, then it kind of reversed and went down. So you're in a big, overall sell-off that's, technically still an uptrend, but so much volatility that it looks choppy. Then you end up with an inside bar last week, and now, the question is, the only interesting thing is now that you have the inside bar and you're heading lower and kind of working towards our target, inside bars do have a tendency to fail their breakout. So now that we're heading down here, if we can't really break through this next target and follow through strongly for the rest of the week, and in that case for the rest of the month, because we're just on an inside month right now. If you really look at this big green bar from last month, all this is just inside of that. So at any moment we can, chop around in here. It's such a big spread. That's what makes it look, like it's a major drop, but in reality, it's just kind of right in the middle of this big green bar with a lot of volatility. Anyway, so on the weekly chart, we can come down, take that out, and then have a reversal back to the upside. But if that's going to happen, we're going to have to see it on the daily chart. And today, we're starting, I'll show you, that's an inside bar from Friday that broke to the downside today. So it was a pretty clear sell signal. If we're not only on this inside daily bar, we could come back up through it. That could be the start of reversing, the inside bar break to the downside, failing and coming back up. But you got to get a 2-up day. And obviously with a big red day that's about to close here, it doesn't look like that's going to happen tomorrow. But crazy things happen. Maybe we gap up. Who knows? I mean, that's the thing, though. At this point, to get back to the upside or even start back up there, we got to look for this inside bar, both on the daily and weekly chart, failure to the downside, and then come back up through it. And that means we're going to have to go above the midpoint of this day, if it happens tomorrow, for example, and start up. If not, something's going to have to happen that gives us kind of a failure down here that starts back up. In the meantime, given that we had the big, what happened, I shot a video this Thursday, I believe, showing how, given my downward bias and choppy environment, once we went up and immediately sold off, we took out these stops up here, brought in higher highs, and then it wasn't surprising to me we were looking to come back through the range, given the fact, it's just a choppy environment with a downward bias. Then, obviously, yesterday was a bit of a pause day, and then today, now we continue lower, which was kind of indicated by this day on Thursday. And it was pretty clear in terms of opening price action today that we came up, just took out the pre-market highs, which was right in the midday, middle of the prior day. So we didn't even start above the midpoint of that day, had a big reversal bar, and there was a great sell signal. Obviously made typical 1 push, 2 pushes down, inside bar. We're working, towards the bottom of this whole area down here, and that kind of falls in line with the inside breakout of the weekly chart that has a target to these weekly lows. You can see a lot of lows down here, so you kind of expect it to be taken out, and then at that inflection point, the big question is, do we continue strongly lower? There's some gaps down here to fill, or is this going to be a reversal area, kind of like this was a reversal area on the upside? So just thought I'd follow up. That's what's developing. I've been biased to the downside in this ever since the big sell-off in one form or another. I think today was a very clear day to sell, given the opening price action. I actually kind of took advantage of it, buying Coinbase puts early. It's kind of a very similar looking chart that moved up a little bit in the short run, is now trying to work to the bottom of the range. So, whether it's the ETFs or other stocks that are, affiliated with Bitcoin, definitely downward at the moment, but there is a chance, we could, take the inside price action, hit some targets, and reverse back up. That's the only way, to me, I'd be comfortable getting, back to the buy side. And I want to see this weekly chart, get back through the open and start green again. So at this point, given now we're in the third week of red, I need to see this weekly chart reverse to get comfortable with anything back to the upside. And, that might happen, but it might not. So we're just going to go day by day. But there are some clear individual days in here that are good for trading with all this volatility. And today was one of them to the downside, breaking below the midpoint of the prior day inside bar. After this failure up here, you're kind of expecting it to come all the way back through the range. And opening price action, blah, 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 was, very good opening indicator to play the downside, and it obviously did its typical one push, two pushes down, closing near the lows of the day. So that's the updated MSTU. Those are some of the key reference points going forward, and we will see what happens as we approach our target down. There's a key inflection point. Does it just slice right through and really pull back even further? Or are we going to possibly, on the inside weekly bar, hit targets and maybe start back up in an overall uptrend that's pulled back pretty severely? But like I said, on the monthly chart, it's more just consolidation inside a very big range. So we'll see what happens as the rest of the week goes on, and we'll see how this month ends up. It's going to be an inside month, I'm sure. Then the question is, what does that really mean going forward? We'll have to see, how this bar looks by the end of the month. But it's just going to be choppy. That's the thing. So anything that goes up, you can almost expect a reversal. And now that we're coming down, maybe we're going to get a little reversal back to the upside at some point.